Hello and welcome back to Matsuribayashi. I actually had a little recording mishap and I recorded 3 whole minutes of the episode without plugging in my microphone, so I just started again. You didn't miss much. You missed the intro, which was just a quick recap. Last time we did Mion's, where she kind of prophesized Keiichi arriving and like saving the village, which was kind of funny. We got Rika's views on the times where Satoko was being ignored by the village and what she thought of it, since we kind of like talked about that subject in Sumi Horoboshi, but like didn't really get too deep into that. Then we got Takano's emergency plan, like the creation of it and how it got approved and stuff. Then basically I clicked this one because I thought this might be fine, but it wasn't. So then I think we only have these two. I could be wrong, but I think we have these two. And I don't know which one to do. I clicked this one, but I don't know what Shirakawa Park is. Dude, I kind of want to see Ooishi. This one's juicier, so I know this one's gonna lead to freaking a lot of stuff. So let's do this one first. Joke? Huh? Well, like I said in the last recording, that broken screen's gonna annoy me. So even though you've informed me that it doesn't matter. Really? I thought that would work. Maybe I'm missing the last one, I guess. So can we really only do this one? We can't do any of these. We can do that one for sure, because I actually clicked it. I don't know what high fever is. I don't think we got Rika's high fever. Yeah, we only have one option. Unless I'm wrong, so let's go. Death time. 1979. Very juicy murder. And here we are, we're caught up. That's literally all I saw. There you go. Back to being a blind read-through. You killed him, laborer. I was actually kind of like confused about this murder for a while because I don't think I fully understood it in the first or second arc, but eventually, like I thought it was just like some village protesters, but it's actually like co-workers of the mayor, or not the mayor, the dam foreman. So it's like people actually working at the dam that went crazy and killed the manager, not actual like Hinamizawa residents who are protesting. Which is, I mean, it made sense. They're in Hinamizawa, they're under a lot of stress, so they would naturally get higher levels of the syndrome, but yeah, for some reason that didn't click. I thought like a group of Hinamizans like went in and assassinated him or whatever. Or tried to sneak him and rough him up, but it's actually just his co-workers. Yeah. I don't know when I like found that out, but like for a while I was under that impression. Claimed. A loud noise snapped everyone out of it. Someone dropped the shovel he was holding. The shovel was smeared with reddish black blood. No, not just the shovel. All 6 construction workers' clothes were blood-soaked too. One of them cried to the silent dead body of the manager, which was drenched in blood. Good one, guys. I know he sounds like he's trembling, but it also kind of reminded me of someone doing a ghost impression. You know, like the ooh. I do feel bad for him, though.
監督
You hear it too. No disrespect though.
死んでるに決まってんだろ仕方ねえじゃねえか生徒防衛だろ生徒防衛
Tell that to a judge. Actually, tell that to Ooishi. You're probably gonna get your bones broken in. I guess your face broken in would be better. Better way to put it. The fight had started after the manager yelled at them for drinking beer inside the office. Perfectly reasonable complaint, to be honest. There were no drinking and no smoking signs everywhere. The manager harshly scolded anyone who broke that rule. So it was the six workers' fault for disobeying. But they drank because they were stressed out by the anti-dam protesters. That's why they said things to provoke the manager. They told him to step out, and the others went along. The construction workers toiled hard and long hours. That's why they instigated the fight with the manager to release their stress. Also reasonable. Honestly. You gotta feel bad for the construction workers too. I mean, they're not even the ones who are, planned the dam or whatever. They're just doing their job. And they're caught in the warfare. They had expected to just curse at each other or to end up in a wrestling match. But things escalated. Or to put it more accurately, the manager exploded all of a sudden. The manager had to deal with the residents' protests as well. So he was under just as much pressure, or maybe even more. But how he changed was not normal. So that even the manager was, I mean, again, it made sense that everyone would have this syndrome. The manager was calm at first, but he gradually became more aggressive, and it was like he transformed into someone completely different. No, it was like he was possessed by something evil. The men who instigated the fight sobered up when they saw his behavior. Then, the manager picked up a shovel that was nearby and tried to smash his opponent's head in with it. He managed to avoid the hit, but if he didn't, his head would have surely been split open. The manager kept pounding on him with the shovel. Even as he frantically tried to avoid the hits, by this time the workers had realized this was beyond a simple fight, so they tried to hold the manager down. Wait, am I... Yeah, they're talking about the foreman. I don't know, for some reason I was getting a little confused, but I understand. One of the men tried to protect himself by crossing his arms above his head, but there's no way that he could have blocked the shovel swung with such force. Blood spurted out and the man groaned in pain. I bet that's the guy that went to the hospital and ratted everyone out. By this time, the 6 men had realized the manager was not his usual self. This manager would try to bash in their brains without hesitation. Since their opponent was using a shovel as his weapons, they had to find some kind of weapon too. One of them grabbed a huge hammer. The other realized they needed to find something as well. To restrain the manager in that condition, it was better to arm themselves.
こんなつもりじゃなかったのに
It's alright, Casper. It'll be okay. It didn't take long for the madness to infect the 6 workers. So I think maybe the manager was like a higher syndrome level, and these guys weren't even like really in it. I mean, maybe they were because they brutalized him more, but that could have honestly just been fear of being killed too. It was only a matter of time before they went from restraining him to lynching him. By the time they realized what had happened, the manager was already a lump of meat. His face was swollen, shreds of skin had been torn off, and his muscles and skull were visible too. Obviously, he was quite dead.
ふざけんじゃねえよ俺たちは殺されかかったんだぞ こいつが襲いかかってこなけりゃ俺たちだって反撃しなかったんだぞ。なあ。
The leader of the Sits, the one who instigated the fight, tried to bring the rest to his side, but nobody replied. And so the leader became frustrated. He was the one who started the fight. The rest simply joined in. He was the main perpetrator. Maybe that was why he was feeling so exasperated. He sensed that he was the one at fault.
いつまでもなよなよしてんじゃねえ。仕方ねえだろ。やっちまったもんは仕方ねえだろ。俺たちな、もう殺人犯なんだよ。覚悟を決めるんだよ。
Buckle up, kiddos.
まさかおめえら自首して懲役食らいてえなんて思ってんじゃねえだろうな。冗談じゃねえよ。無所なんかこの年で言ってられっかよ。
隠すんだよ。こいつの死体を隠してすっとぼけるしかねえんだ。
Some of them knew he was on probation for an assault incident once before. So if he got into trouble with the law again, the punishment would be more severe than they could imagine. I mean, I feel like it would be pretty severe already, but I guess that's just icing on the cake. That was why he was trying desperately to find a way out. If he was alone with the manager's body, then he wouldn't have behaved this way. All he would have to do is hide the manager's body and pretend nothing happened. But there were 6 of them, including him. They were partners in crime and witnesses too. Even if one of them turned himself in and out of guilt, he'd be in big trouble.
でも死体なんか隠したってバレるよ、いずれ。それより正当防衛ってことでちゃんと主張して、その過剰防衛くらいで勘弁してもらえねえかな。
甘ったれたこと言ってんじゃねえ。実際に殺しちまったんだぞ。過剰防衛で済むかよ。もう取り返しつかないところまでやっちまったんだぞバカ野郎。
でもよ、どう隠したって監督がいなくなったのは明日の朝にはバレちまうんだ。どうしようもねえよ。
どうしようもねえのはオンドレの頭じゃボケ。
You shithead. He slapped the other man in the face. The leader had such an evil look in his eyes.
いいかボケども、俺たちはな殺人犯なんだ。殺人犯。グズグズ言ってりゃ5年6年食らい込まれちまうんだよ。俺らの中に一人裏切り者がおってみろ。全員が捕まっちまうんだよ。懲役をなめんな。どうせ捕まる覚悟だっちゅうんなら死ぬ気で逃げまくってやるんだ。年貢の納め時になったら好きなだけ覚悟決めりゃいいんだ。
His visage turned more and more demonic. It was the same expression the manager had just a few minutes before. Was he possessed by the same thing that possessed the manager? The 5 men started to think that way. Now that they considered it, all the villagers in the anti-dam protests had the same expression on their faces too. The real name of Hinamizawa was Onidofuchi Village. People said that the wicked demons lived there, and sometimes they possessed people. The men couldn't help but recall that exaggerated story often told by the demonstrators. The manager spun the shovel after his expression changed to that demonic one. There's no guarantee this man wouldn't do the same. In fact, he was still squeezing the hammer in his hand, glaring at everyone and threatening them. If someone suggested surrendering, he'd probably smash their head in with it.
そうだ。
The static.
裏切り者を出さんためにな。いいこと思いついたわ。死体も隠しやすくなって一石二鳥だぞ。
どんな手だい。
We're gonna cut the body up into 6 pieces.
そりゃあ
So it's a weird one to me. Like, I mean, Obviously, they do head, arms, legs, and then torso, but really, it must suck for the person who gets the freaking torso. It's the short end of the straw, man. Have to lug around a freaking torso. It's like double, triple the size of a bunch of the other stuff. Just mass. Unless they like cut it really nice and cut at the joints. They all wanted to object to the idea. Killing him was a serious crime itself. I love this song, by the way. Wait for the drop. Dismembering the body would be too much. Bang. The build up. But if anyone objected, he'd be killed on the spot. So no one said anything. We'll cut him up together.
この野郎が日頃言ってんだろ。共同作業だよ。
True.
全員腹をくくれよ。
Here it is. Does this song drop, or am I thinking of a different song?
それで分けて持った証拠は各自が責任を持って隠すんだ。な。
Give me the head, please.
これなら全員
Actually, the head might suck too. There's the drop, dude. Bam.
自分だけ罪が軽いから自首しようなんてずる抜けは許されってわけさ。
I guess an arm would be better. I don't know. I feel like it'd be harder getting rid of the head, even though it's smaller. Bam. The 5 men were all taken in by his ghastly face, and they couldn't even feel the fear of the Onigafuchi demons creeping up their backs. It's a good show. All these fragments have been pretty fun. I mean, I've been enjoying them. Some informal, some just good, you know. Bam, 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 bam. So we know. I wonder if that unlocked anything besides the old man one. Oh wait, no, we did that, yes. Shiratara Park. That is far away. That seems so far away. Dude, when does she get that outfit? Oh wait, does she? No, I think she comes in with the nurse outfit, right? Oh, yeah, the old guy. That's the one we knew. I guess that's the only one, I think, so let's just do that. Old man! Ooishi's intro to the arc? Hello, my friend? I don't know what to say. I want to say something, but I can't think of the right words. I can only sigh.
Ah, Ooishi-san. 探したんすよ。課長から手配写真の。
静かにせい。ここは騒ぐ部屋ではないぞ。
As Kumadai barged into the room, the old coroner quickly snapped back at him.
すみません。ですね。課長が容疑者の手配写真について。
ああ、それ小宮山君に相談してくれませんかね。ちょいと私じい様と話がありまして。すぐに上がりますと上に言っといてください。
あ、わかりました。
Kumadai ran out of the autopsy room with the same haste he entered in.
賑やかな男だの。
おやっさんだったらやかましいって言ってげんこつの一つも食らわして
I
る
think
ところ
this
です。
is, well, it's not Kumadai's first year, but it's Kumadai's, like, first year's partners with Ooishi. I think if I remember that correctly, because he joined right after Akasaka, and this is like a year after, right? Or at least I partnered with Ooishi a year after.
お前さんも少し上に戻った方がいいぞい。ここの空気は慣れんやつには合わん。
そうですね。あんまりサボってると私もげんこつを食らっちまいそうです。
獅子骨界隈じゃチンピラも避けて通るお前さんを つもの切り方が悪いとげんこつを食らわせてきたのは後にも先にもこいつだけだったの
容赦のない人だったな。本当の親父よりげんこつもらった気がしますよ。
It's a weird line. Got a tough father.
本当も嘘もないわい。お前さんが本当の親父だと信じてたなら、こいつも本当の親父だ。
So we just thought they were like, I mean, they are friends, but he was also kind of like a father figure. I didn't know he was that old, honestly. That makes it extra rough. My real father passed away in Nagoya. Dude, Ooishi backstory. Bless me. He was unlucky. If he wasn't given the order to move to a plant in Nagoya, he wouldn't have died in an air raid. If he could have rode it out for another half a year or so, then the war would have been over. I was sad, of course, but I was grown up enough by then that I didn't cry into the ground like my mother did. But people feel sadness in different ways. For some people, it comes all at once as an overwhelming wave, but others feel sadness gradually over a long period of time. I think I was the latter. Whoa! I don't know what I clicked. When he was alive, I only thought of him as annoying. In my mind, I even cursed him with questions about why he avoided the draft. And I thought my feelings toward him would always be the same. Then the war ended. As I saw families and friends being reunited with joy as they came home from the front, it finally happened. I grieved for my father's death. Japan was filled with people who were sad and full of despair. I knew I wasn't the only one whose life ended up that way. But I remember I was very, very heartbroken. After the war, the nation completely changed. As a policeman, the environment I worked in went through sudden changes too. Okay, for some reason I thought he was a little kid, but he seems he was already working in a police. Question? Wait, no, I don't know dates. When was World War II? Wasn't that like 1930s or 40s? And this is like 1979. World War II was 1939. Okay, that works. Ooishi currently being in like his 50s. Sounds about right, honestly. Or, well, it wouldn't be 50s. I actually don't know. Whatever. He's old though. Probably like when I think of Ooishi, I think of him in his 40s, maybe like late 40s at most. That's just the vibe I get though.
食料とか生活必需品を非合法な手段で買い込む人たちをよく検挙したもんです。
Buying rice illegally.
そりゃあもうゾロゾロ引っかかりましたっけ。僕らのあたりは物が豊かで、そういった物を手に入れるのに
Dude, the Lido rice market. After the war, Japan faced a chronic shortage in food supply. To those ends, the nation instituted a food rationing program by signing the Food Control Act. But the rations the government provided weren't even close to being enough to feed families. Therefore, people had no choice other than buying food and supplies on the black market. The government hardly had enough food for rations, but there were somehow plenty on the black market. The dealers there sold it at outrageous prices, and some of them became quite wealthy. The Sonozaki family made their money through the black market, but that's another story. What was it? Was it through rice? I actually forgot. We know that Shion's story was bullshit, so I don't actually remember what's the real story. It wasn't canned flesh. Maybe it was rice then. The government didn't bother arresting these dealers. before, with their money, they were able to buy off the top members of the police department. Instead, they decided to go after the people buying the goods and even confiscated the rice they bought by selling everything they owned. Jesus. Yeah, I remember that. Wasn't there a prosecutor who starved himself to death? Yeah, there was. The prosecutor who vowed not to eat a liter rice starved to death. Wasn't it in 1947? That was horrible. Okay, I think Ooishi's probably like late 50s, but yeah. If he's, I mean, yeah. He was a public prosecutor, proved it himself that people can survive by adhering to the law. That prosecutor had grown tired of the government charging people with doing whatever they could to survive. And he proclaimed that he was never going to buy black market rice again. In 1947, he starved to death when he was only in his mid-30s. Sticking to your morals to the end. Now that's what we call hardcore. The law prohibited people from buying black market rice. But that was the only way to survive. In that case, was the Food Control Act a bad law itself? The death of the prosecutor was seen as a desperate message to the government about the unjustness of that law. We rounded up people with bales of rice and lined them up at the temporary inspection point next to the station. It was like a military tribunal. We inspected their bales and confiscated everything that they bought at the black market. They sold everything they owned to buy the rice. They pleaded that if we confiscated the rice, how would they feed their starving children? Yet they forbade you from going after the sellers, so it was absolutely unfair from the view of the people. Everyone was on edge. If they heard a police inspection was set up at the next station, they'd jump off the train and run. We were aware of these people, so we set up several officers near the jump-off spots in order to capture them. I remember chasing after women carrying 7 kilos of rice on them. That was when I first met the old man. Damn, that was so far. He met the old man like 30 plus years ago.
あまりにもそっくりだったんですよ。私はね、てっきり死んだと思っていた親父が帰ってきてくれたんじゃないかなって本気で思いましたよ。
I was chasing a man who was running away from the inspection point. There's no way for him to run with a heavy bag of rice on him. So either he'd get arrested with a liter of rice or escape by ditching the rice that he bought by selling all of his belongings. In other words, if a person is being chased by the police, that person can't provide his family any rice to eat. Of course, I felt guilty about that. I knew people had to buy the rice to survive. So we had a tacit agreement to let those who ditched the rice and ran and get away. So I always thought the same thing as I chased them. Please throw it away. I didn't want to catch him, because I didn't want to hear him crying and pleading in distress. It was then the old man showed up. He looked exactly like my dead father. I was dumbfounded. Then all of a sudden he punched me in the head. If a father disciplines you, as a child you lower your head in apology. I was so happy to see my father alive I couldn't hold my joy in. The old man said, "Let him go." When I heard his voice, I realized he wasn't my father, so I thought I'd arrest him for assaulting a policeman. But a young man like me, who'd barely grown any hairs yet, was no match for an older man used to fighting.
いや、たっぷり説教をもらいましたよ。大通りの真ん中でぶちのめされた挙句に。普通に考えたらそんなのに耳なんか傾けないですよね。でもあの時の私はどうかしてたんです。どうしてもおやっさんが親父に見えちゃって、おとなしく言うことに耳を傾けることしかできなかったんです。
まあ そこで小づいただけじゃなく、男の器量もきっちりと見せられたのがこいつの大したところだったの。今時じゃすっかり珍しくなっちまった。古き良き時代の生き残りじゃった。
Despite my age, I still needed a father. I needed someone to look up to and to show me what makes a man a man. When I think about it, I really did have two fathers. The old man was a father, a brother, and my best friend. But now he lies with his head, body, arms, and legs all dismembered, and his right arm hasn't been found. You know what, it's definitely, you understood why Ooishi wanted revenge, but this definitely hammers the point home to where, I definitely feel it a lot more. Again, this is what's great about this. You get information that you technically didn't need because it's established, but it focuses in on it and refines it to a point where you understand it more. Kind of like with the Hojo or Satoko's dad and Oryu fighting. I thought that was also very good. This is pretty good too. He taught me how to be a man, how to enjoy alcohol, how to play mahjong. And with that right arm, he gave me a good beating when I did something wrong. But that right arm is still missing.
星の目星は
ねえ、もちろんついています。おやつさんの右腕ももちろん取り返しますし、この借りもきっちり返します。
They're running Hinami-sama from the shadows and inciting this collective crime they called the damn protests. The Sonozaki family. It's a great assumption. I mean, it made sense. Who would think it would be the own guys? Well, actually, they already arrested a bunch of the people, but I guess Ooishi assumes there's more to it than just them going crazy. Which, sadly, it's not. Just not. I declare war within myself. I already know who my enemy is. Bum bum bum. And here starts 5 years of shooting missiles at the Sonozakis. Where do we go from here? That is the question. I feel like the path has been very narrowed. And I'm just missing it. When does Satoko get a freaking test, dude? Probably after this, right? Or not this, but the... You know. Oh, this one? Sacrifice Uno, maybe? Save so I don't get a freaking cracked screen. That will remind me of my failures. Sounds good to me. I think that's probably that. What else could we get? No. Oh, this one. Wait, no. Definitely not this one. Huh. Third year's curse is so long from when you do Ooishi's declaration of war, though. Boom, boom. Just doing a quick one. I think we only have one, though. Boom, boom. I don't see how Ooishi would affect any of these. Okay. Pretty sure it's the first sacrifice. Oh. Okay. Clench your teeth. I was half asleep, so I didn't even hear the phone ringing nearby. After a while, I finally realized the phone was ringing, and a ringing phone means there's some kind of emergency. Who are we guessing? Irie? I think it's Irie. It's 2 in the morning. Who would even call me at this time of night? It is Irie! Oh wait. Yeah, it is Irie. I knew it, dude. Tateno taught the man. It's Tateno-san. Yeah. Kind of sucks for Ooishi, since he never catches a die, it kind of spirals him down the path of annihilating the Sonozakis. If he taught the die, he might not have went full head on and Zensed them all these years. It's Tateno-san. She's never called me for a personal reason. At the institute, she's ranked just below me, so she's basically responsible for running it. So for her to call me this late at night, it must be an emergency. Uh-oh.
遅くなりました。
Bam. Down, down. Sir, it took me so long.
末期患者が出たというの
don't
は
mood.
本当ですか？
生きた検体が欲しいと思っていたら本当に運よく。
I initially thought that she'd abducted someone. Yo. That was the freaking orphanage. Siege background from Takano's past. The man had already been moved to the research area in the clinic's basement. Having been tied down to the examination table, he's struggling against his restraints, but more as though he's deranged than actually resisting. I can't even understand what he's saying. He sounds angry, sorrowful, and like a child throwing a tantrum all at once. It's obvious that he's not in the right state of mind.
とにかく麻酔で眠らせましょう。このままでは自分の舌を飲み込んで窒息しかねません。
もう少し状態を観察したかったのですけれど、仕方ありませんわね。
One of the staff with a white gown got the anesthesia ready. Even a normal person would struggle to escape a restraining table in this suspicious room. But this man's behavior is at an abnormal level. I'm sure Okinogi and his friends from the Mountain Dogs are the ones who captured him. Capturing a man in this state of mind couldn't have been an easy task. According to Takano, she ran into this patient on her way from the clinic by accident. She brought him back here, tested him, and the result came back positive. Of course, I had no intention of believing what she's telling me. Yeah, that doesn't sound right at all. But there's no question that this man is at a terminal stage, and a live specimen is exactly what we need to research the syndrome.
一体この男は何者です？
Bim, bim, bim.
あの男が持っていた新聞の包み、中に何が入っていたと思います？
Dude, I love how Totten is just playing around, finding a freaking hand.
これは何です？
There's something wrapped in a bloody newspaper on a tray nearby. Looking at the blood-drenched paper, I can only imagine there is something gruesome inside of it. Yet Takano-san looked like she wanted to surprise me with something interesting.
これはひどい。
It's a bloody right arm. The man on the table still has his. This right arm doesn't belong to him. So who does it belong to? I'm used to looking at things like this as a doctor, but the horrible cross-section makes me want to look away. It wasn't done according to a medically acceptable method, that's for sure. It was obviously done out of cruelty.
状況から考えて、この男が切り取ったものと考えていいでしょうね。
つまり彼は近隣で起こった何らかの事件の犯人ということですね。
At that point, there's no way of knowing who the right arm belonged to. But the next morning, the dismemberment murder of the damn construction site director was reported. And they mentioned that his right arm was still missing, so we learned who the arm belonged to.
この男、前科者だそうで、しかもその上、執行猶予期間中だとか。にもかかわらず、また罪を犯してしまうなんて。それで、殺人の発覚を恐れて、遺体を隠そうと思ったのでしょうね。
状況にもよるでしょうが、懲役数年で済むというものではなさそうですね。
Again, they say that, but I feel like even if he didn't have probation, wouldn't he get like a lot of years for killing and dismembering somebody? I don't know though. I don't know the law, especially Japanese law. Besides this, there's a very nice chance that if you're found guilty, it won't be or if you're prosecuted, you won't be able to turn it around. Apparently, the 99 thing, right? I watched
入
the
江社
drama
長
on that.
もこんな社会のクズが相手なら解剖に躊躇はないのでは？
For science.
社会のクズがさらに犯罪を重ね、さらにその上ひなみ沢症候群で凶暴化したのか、それとも前科を食いる善良な小市民がひなみ沢症候群で凶暴化して罪を犯したのか。前者ならともかく、後者ならば彼には何の罪もありませんよ。
This goes well with Irie's philosophy or whatever. His thing with what happened to his dad. That's why Hinamizawa syndrome is so terrifying. We can't tell if the syndrome is the cause of the crime or if it's simply a problem of human nature. Well, what causes a defect of human nature in the first place? That was precisely Irie's area of research. Hate the crime, not the criminal. Can criminals only be corrected by punishing them with imprisonment? If a person commits a crime because of a mental disorder, but then gets treatment, he is corrected. In other words, there's no crime in this world, only patients awaiting treatment without anyone else being able to understand them. In medieval times, patients with mental disorders were said to be possessed by demons, and they were either confined or killed. Centuries after, they were finally acknowledged as mentally ill people who needed treatment. Perceptions can change with time. Even if they are called criminals now, maybe after centuries, those criminals will be acknowledged as patients who are entitled to appropriate treatment. Explaining crimes through illness instead of malice. That's my life's work. Hinamizawa syndrome is a strange disease that can support my theory. Solving its mysteries is extremely important to me. To solve those mysteries, I need a medical sacrifice. It's an extremely sinful thing to do, but there's no way to unravel this without it. The Irie Institute was authorized to take such drastic measure if necessary. That's why I was asked about it so many times when I accepted the position of director. Yeah. And finally the opportunity is here. This will be the first step of our research on this strange disease. But even now, I'm a little hesitant. I've opened up human bodies in many surgeries. What I'll be doing on this man is something very similar. But there's also something that's very different. What I did before was part of treatment. I did it to save the patient's lives. I did it so the patients could have a better future. But what I'm trying to do here isn't treatment. He will die at the end of it. His death will be far from humane. I'm going to violate nature and force him to stay alive while I open up his living brain. Juicy.
入江所長、聞いてらっしゃいます？
ああ、すみません。もう一度お願いします。
解剖計画書を提出し、東京に応援を要請した方が良いかと思います。何しろ、単に生きてるだけでなく、末期症状を起こしている大変貴重な検体ですもの。慎重な解剖が求められますわね。
そうですね。おっしゃる通りです。そのようにしましょう。
それまでに数日の猶予があると思います。
Dude, is the guy just listening to this too?
そこで麻酔を解いていくつかの反応実験をしてみたいのですが。
危険ではありませんか？たとえ拘束を解かなくても何が起こるか分かりませんよ。
ようやく手に入った検体なんですもの。ただ脳を覗くだけじゃもったいないですわ。
Tatano-san's unusual cheerfulness made me feel odd. Maybe her reaction is normal. Maybe I'm the one who's not reacting normally in this situation. No, Yuri, I think you are. I think she's the one being a bit abnormal, if I do say so myself. I'm here only for this research, so I should be excited to have the opportunity to perform our first live dissection. I mean, I guess maybe I'm being a little harsh. That is true. You signed up for a job that you knew that you were going to have to research, do some unethical research into the brain and stuff, so maybe I jumped the gun on that one. But I'm still hesitant, but I feel like it's fine to be hesitant, I guess. How can I call myself a researcher? Researchers of the past were brave enough to cross the line, and that's how they accomplish many things. I've seen many brains, I've operated on them, I've lost some patients too, but I never thought about any of it because I knew I did the right thing, even when my hard work was denied afterwards. If it pained me to think of that, then I just need to advance the field of medicine to ensure their deaths weren't wasted. That's the true form of those advancing the field of medicine. Yet, why was my heart tormented so much just by changing the name from treatment to dissection? Does it mean I'm not man enough to emulate those great men of the past to open the doors to new medicine? That I don't have the power to develop new advances myself?
あら、どうなさいましたの、所長。お休みのところを無理に起こしてしまったので、ご気分が優れませんのかしら?
Takano is pretending to be concerned about me, but she knows. She knows I'm still hesitating. And she's telling me that I should be ashamed as a researcher for feeling that way. I shook my head to clear it of sleepiness. Remember the resolve that brought me here to this day. I already have blood on my hands, but if I stop now, their lives will be wasted. Those who shed their blood can only rest in peace once they become the cornerstones of great research. I shook my head once more and reminded myself that I'm a researcher.
いえ、考え事をしていただけです。高野さんは東京との調整をお願いいたします。日程が決まりましたら教えてください。
There we go.
ええ、了解いたしましたわ。
ひひひひひ。
眠気も吹っ飛んでしまいますわね。
The least I can do is my best so his life won't be wasted. If he bleeds, I can't waste even a drop of his blood. After scolding my staff for their indiscretion of discussing the dissection with such incitement, I returned to my office. Dude. That was fun. The eerie struggles. I think there was a requirement where Eerie reassures himself or something. We'll do one more. Now that I set the minimum per video to 4. I think that's... maybe not. What do we do with this? Oh, this, yeah. Okay, we can do that. We can do this one too. Do you want to do the Satoka one? The Toker? The Tok? I kind of want to do this one though. Don't bone me. Nice, okay.
古出さん、お待たせしました。今、最後の検査を終えたところです。もうすぐ戻ってくると思います。
娘が村のために役に立てばいいのですが。
Oh, they're testing Rika. I thought he was talking to Rika.
とんでもない。リカさんの協力は村を救うことにもなります。おかげでようやく治療方法にも目処がついてきたところです。仕組みはまだ調べているところですが、リカさんの存在がやはり村人にとってとても大切なものであることが分かってきました。 レベルの進んでしまった一般感染者は自力ではそのレベルを下げて症状を安定させるのが非常に困難です。ですが女王感染者に接近することで脳内にある種の物質が作られることが分かっています。その物質には鎮静効果があり、また進んでしまった症状のレベルを抑え回復させる力もあるようなのです。この物質を処方できるようになれば治療の強力な決め手となるでしょう。
Okay. So that's how they made the vaccine, I guess, or the idea behind it.
そうですか。理科にそのような力が。
驚かれるには値しないのでは。フルデの巫女には荒れた心、鬼を鎮める神通力があると代々伝えられているんではありませんでしたっけ。私たちが解明しなくても村の数百年にわたる歴史はすでにそれを知っていたわけですわ。
そうですね。大昔の方の聡明さは時に現代医学から見ても感心させられます。
Rika. The silent meep.
検査が終わったのです。
理科、大変だったな。
Well, it looks like they're not starting with the inhuman tests, which is good. It'll probably be post parent's death, I think.
疲れただろ。これで自動販売機でジュースを買ってきなさい。
みー血をいっぱい抜かれたから補給なのです。
Rita took the 100 yen coin that was offered to her and ran out into the hallway.
本当にリカさんの協力のおかげです。彼女が献身的に協力に応じてくれなければこれほどまでに研究が進むことはありませんでした。
リカは自分の友達もその病気にかかっているということを気にしていて、友達のためにも協力したいと常に言っていました。どうか先生方、リカの心意気を汲んでやってください。
もちろんです。毎週日曜日に貴重な時間を割いていただいているのです。必ずや成果にしてみせます。今後もリカさんに過酷な実験を強いることがあると思いますが、どうかお許しいただければと思います。
彼女に危害を加えることは絶対にありませんわ。
Wonder what rough means if you won't harm someone.
彼女はとてもとても大切な身なのです。
Maybe like seriously injure or permanently injure.
何しろお社様の生まれ変わりなんですから。
大昔の村人はどのようにしてこの病気のことを知り、フルデ家にその女王の血が流れていることを知ったのやら、ご先祖様たちにはつくづく頭が下がります。
それで実はまた辛いご協力をお願いしなくてはなりません。彼女の脳脊髄液の採取のご許可をいただきたいのです。
I don't know what that means. Something spine fluid?
また場合によっては彼女の頭蓋に閃光を当て直接頭部の中を検査させていただくことになるかもしれません。
Bro, that's so scary.
頭蓋骨に
I know that is a medical practice, but Jesus, hole in the skull, taking some spinal fluid. Not harmful, by the way. I mean, technically it's not, but it would leave a mark.
もちろん安全性には最大限注意します。リカさんはたった一人しかいない女王感染者なのです。
Definitely be a hard decision for a parent to make, though. Rita's father definitely seems more of the I want to help the greater good kind of guy, while the mother kind of cares more about her immediate family. I think I'm definitely more of the immediate family type of person. Like, I'd be like, hell no, dude. Unless we get some compensation, which we actually do, so then maybe it'd be like, alright, but be careful.
間違っても危害を加えることがないよう、私どもで最も安全な方法を模索した上で提案させていただいています。
もちろんリカちゃんは女の子ですもの。頭部先行周辺の頭髪には気を使いますので、丸坊主にしてしまうようなことはありません。
And you know you can trust these guys, right? Because you know they're screwed if Rika dies, so it's like extra insurance.
ただ経過を慎重に見るためにしばらく入院をしてもらうことになりますが。
もちろんその間面会謝絶ということはありません。検査にもぜひ立ち会ってください。お父さんが身近におられた方がリカさんも安心するでしょう。
その検査はどうしても必要なもので、絶対に安全なものなのですか？
脳脊髄液の採取も頭蓋の選考もどちらも 100% の安全を保証することはできません。
Cerebrospinal? I don't... Cerebrospinal? Cerebrospinal. Cerebro, right? Cerebrospinal fluid is a clear, colorless body fluid found in the brain and spinal cord. It's produced by... Okay. Oh, it's like... Yeah, there you go.
常に 1% の危険があります。またリカさんに身体的あるいは精神的苦痛を与えるでしょう。いくら重要な検査といえどもご家族の同意なしには行えません。
I'm sure Mommy Furude is not gonna be happy about this.
リカちゃんには実はもう同じ話をしていますわ。
リカはなんと？
自分は構わないと、それはもうあっけらかんと。
リカさんには危険や苦痛が伴う可能性があることをもちろん十分に説明しています。ですがやはり保護者の方の承諾をいただかないわけにはいきません。
リカは自分のことを本当にお社様の生まれ変わりだと信じている時があります。だから村人のために自分の身を捧げるのが自分の義務だと思っているところがあるのかもしれません。
立派なお子さんだと思います。
一応家内とも相談させてください。納得はしてくれているのですが、やはりことがことなので話をしないわけにもいかない。
ええ、ご家族の同意は不可欠だと思います。よくご相談なさってください。
その検査は病気の根絶のために重要な意味があるのですね。
はい。ひなみ沢症候群のベールを剥ぐ決定的なものになるでしょう。
I believe it.
決定的なものの第一歩にですわね。
Yeah, first step.
すでにご説明しておりますように、女王感染者に万一のことがあった場合、感染コミュニティに致命的な崩壊をもたらす危険性が予見されています。平たく申し上げると、村人全員が突如として末期発症を起こす可能性もあるということです。
ええ、急性発症の平均から見て女王感染者死亡から48時間以内に全感染者が末期発症を起こします。それだけは絶対に防がなくてはなりません。
リカが死ぬようなことがあれば村中が大パニックに陥って恐ろしいことに。
はい。
Kind of, I mean, then it's still kind of weird what happens in Watanashi or Maitashi, but I'm sure they'll answer it for us eventually, maybe.
それを防ぐのも 私たちの役目です。そのために危険を冒さなければならないのはとても皮肉なことですが、根絶のためには避けて通れない道だと思っています。
入江先生、必ずその検査を成功させていただけますか？
ですから医学には 100% や絶対などという。
Yes, yes, Tatana. We'll try our best, though. Eri answered with a nod, interrupting Tatano's vague response.
私入江京介が
There we
命を
go.
かけて必ずや
There's the man energy.
リカさんを救います。村人も救います。絶対にです。
That's what I like to see, dude.
わかりました。家内と相談させてください。その上で後日改めて
Dude,
お返事させていただきます。
no lie. Honestly, this might be like my favorite Irie arc, dude. I feel like he's gotten so much character development just from the backstory and stuff. Makes me like him like so much more, even though, you know, he's had his good moments in the other arcs. I really enjoy Irie in this arc, even though it's literally just little fragments, but still.
はい。
Hopefully we get more Tomotachi stuff too. That'd
よ
be
ろしくお願いい
sweet.
たします。
Bing. After Rika and her father left, Tatano started to laugh.
どうしましたか？何か愉快なことでも。
Don't laugh at Irie, he's feeling himself.
いえいえ、患者とご家族から律儀に事前承諾を取られていたのがなんだかおかしくって。
リカさんには本来無用の苦痛を強いています。それくらいは最低限の礼儀だと思いまして、去年の男も正常な状態にあれば事前承諾を取りたかったところです。
入江所長はここの研究を始められてからずっと罪の意識に苛まれているのではありません？
それはどういう意味ですか？
This type of teasing was normal from Tatano, but maybe she had gone a little too far. Irie made it clear how displeased he was to hear that.
南沢症候群の研究は生きた人間を研究対象とすることでのみ進められる。それが分かってなお、あなたはこの研究を進めることに罪の意識を感じている。
罪の意識は必要です。殺人であれ、解剖であれ、相手に死を強いる点で変わりません。私たちはその罪を受け止めてなお、その死を無駄にしないために最大限の努力と研究を重ねなくてはなりません。
ご高説ですわね。では入江所長、あなたはこれまで間違いなく非合法とされる実験を行う際、何度の事前承諾を取られたというんですの？
Dude, that was an easy counter punch, man. Kind of walked into that. Irie didn't think Tatano knew about that.
あなたの人の罪は脳の疾患によるものという独りよがりで、一体何人の患者が事前承諾なくあなたの研究対象とされてきたのかしら？
それは
常識は時代で変わる。当時は医者が治療をいちいち説明することなどなかったし、事前承諾なんて大したものではなかった。だから当時のことは気にしなくていいんじゃないですかしら。今は倫理上問題があっても当時は問題なかった。ならばいいじゃありませんの。でもそれに罪を感じているからリカちゃんやあの男にさえも事前承諾が取りたかった。
それは誤解です。そもそも治療と解剖では患者。
ねえ坊や、
hit him with the boy?
あなたが欲しいのは事前承諾という名の免罪符。そうでしょ？あなたが欲しいのは過去の罪をあがないたいという心を満たすだけの欺瞞、そのためだけの免罪符。後悔しているならば二度と脳に関わらなければいい。なのにだらだらと後悔しながらあなたはいつまでも未練がましくこの世界で脳に関わっている。その罪の意識が本物ならあなたはあの時所長就任の話を断ればよかったはず。そうでしょう、坊や。
Do you like how she says
と
that
ても
though?
深いです。
Ooh, Irie. Put your foot on the drain.
私は失礼させていただきます。
Stomp extra loudly so she knows.
聞きなさい。医学は常にその時代の倫理や価値観との戦いから勝ち取られるの。かつて高野先生がひなみ沢症候群の存在を予見した時、その時代の権威たちは自分たちの無知を棚に上げ、その先見性を嘲笑った。でも病に倒れる直前まで研究を捨てなかったわ。必ず自分がいつか評価される日が来ると信じて、そしてその日が自分の死後であったとしても必ず来ると信じて、それは強い信念と揺らぎのない鉄の意志があるから成し遂げられること。そうでなければ時代の無理解に高野先生は屈していたはず。研究はね、意志の力で成し遂げるのよ。絶対的に強固な意志だけが結果を紡ぎ出す。でもあなたにはそれがない。あなたは自分の実績を誇るべきか恥じるべきかすら自分で決めかねている臆病者よ。そんな中途半端な覚悟でよくこのような研究所の所長を引き受けられたものね。
Hey, we just went over this. This in the last fragment. Technically, this is a different world, so maybe Irie didn't have these thoughts.
血塗られた両手をさらに血に浸すことでしか明かせぬ研究だと最初から分かっていたはずなのに。
否定はしません。私は中途半端かもしれない。
He's half-hearted in his research, but he's keeping his soul clean enough to know to have it. Keeping a good
ならば所長を
consciousness.
辞任なさっては。守秘義務は残るでしょうけど、あなたはこれ以上罪の意識に苛まれなくて済むでしょう。
What, and lose my lieutenant colonel ranking? Are you crazy?
私にとってあなたはパートナーである以前にクライアントが要求した人事上の駒でしかない。こうして研究機関が成立した今、あなたの存在はもう重要ではないの。
No snipping.
しかもその上、研究に対する覚悟が足りず、研究のパートナーとしても役立たずなら、あなたは無能の用なしよ。私は一人でも研究をやめない。どんな罪も後悔も恐れない。強固な意志だけが未来を紡ぐ。かつて高野先生が高潔な精神で成し遂げたように、私もたった一人でも成し遂げてみせる。
立派な決意だと思います。ですが私もあなたに及ばないにしてもわずかの決意があってここへ来ています。
Push back.
そしてあなたの言う通り、私の手はすでに血にまみれています。そしてひなみ沢に来てさらに血に浸しました。だからその責任を全うするまでは私は逃げることはできません。相変わらず私は罪を清算できず苛まれ続けるでしょう。でも逃げない。必ずひなみ沢症候群の研究を決着させます。それだけがこの研究に命を捧げてくださった方、そしてこれから捧げることになるかもしれない方への最後の誠意だと思っています。
That was a nice comeback. Irie wore a determined look on his face. He appeared different from even a moment before when he was baffled by Takano having brought up those painful memories. For a short while, Irie's eyes displayed his strong will, and then he turned around.
おそらくリカさんの検査は承諾が取れるでしょう。準備をお願いします。
ええ。所長
They got their consent the following week. Oh, they did it. That was fun. Lots of Irie development. But we're gonna wrap that up, you know. And we're pumping a little harder now that we're at 4. But that's alright. What did that unlock? Well, we still have the second sacrifice. Is it just the sacrifice? Oh wait, wasn't there? Oh yeah, no. We unlocked this one too. There you go. But yeah, that was fun. Probably my favorite one was the Ooishi bat story. But you know I'm a sucker for a bat story. But also like this was good. It was a nice change of pace from sad Satoko stories in the last 2 episodes. Now we're getting a bit more gory research, Takano, and Irie stuff. But next time we'll check out what's happening in the second sacrifice. Did Satoko really eat her parents off the platform? Which the answer is yes. And then we'll get a Tomotaki hint too. You know I love my Tomotaki hints. But yeah, thanks for watching. See you guys Saturday for the next episode. Good night.